I'm Andrew Patterson from interest.co.nz and welcome to another in our Business Success series. Today I'm with Andrew Bailey, the founder and chief executive at Sportsfuel. Hi, Andrew.
Hi.
So, Andrew, tell us a bit about the business Sportsfuel. Obviously, a star performer in last year's Deloitte's Fast 50, and this is a business that's growing pretty rapidly for you. Where did the idea come from?
Well, we started out at home. I had used supplements previously and knew how effective they could be for me, and knew that a lot of, sports people weren't using them, or just general people going to the gym. So that started off, we had the belief in the product, we knew it worked, and we saw a little bit of a gap in the market that a lot of people didn't know about it and weren't using it. So I guess that's where the spark started.
And at that time, this was quite a niche business. It wasn't the sort of product you could easily get your hands on.
Yeah, it was quite hard to find. It had that stereotype that it was only for bodybuilders, and that was something that we thought needed to change a little bit, because anyone could use them. And yeah, that really started things. It was real hard to find. There was maybe little stores located in your town if you were lucky. And not much of a product range.
And young guys, particularly, because your target is probably 20 to 45-year-old males. This is a huge growth area now. How have they discovered? Why have they suddenly decided that this is an important thing to spend the sort of money that they do on it?
I think there's been a big mindset change in terms of staying healthy. Perhaps wanting to do a little bit better in your sports, even though whether it's a serious sport or just a fun sport. So it has been a big mindset change from just being a little bit healthier to being a whole lot healthier and fitter, and from one end to the other.
And you found that yourself with your own experience of getting into this? Yeah,
I found from using supplements, the difference that it gave me at the time when I first tried them was massive. So I felt like I'd kind of stumbled onto something that nobody knew about, or maybe only bodybuilders knew about at the time. And then knowing what the performance increases that you could have just by playing a social sport, like rugby or league, they were pretty astounding, and I knew no one else, especially in my teams, were using supplements.
So it's like your secret weapon.
Yeah, it was a little bit at the start, and I guess now it's really mainstream. So in most cases, guys and girls in the gym are using supplements, and definitely with professional sport, anyone who's an athlete is using them, even if they're just the basics like protein and those kind of things.
And these are intended as supplements. They're not supposed to replace a regular diet, even though I suppose many sports people sometimes think that the more I have, the faster I'm going to get a result. Yeah,
absolutely. We try and remind everyone that they're called supplements because they should supplement your natural food. Natural food has got tons of benefits, and supplements should be used just to give you that little extra edge, or mainly in terms of convenience. But yes, taking if one serve works well, 4 serves is not going to give you 4 times the benefit. So you've got to keep that in mind, that they're a supplement only.
And the growth in the business has been fairly rapid from your early days. What are you putting that down to?
Again, I think it's that mindset change, people being more interested in staying fit and healthy. It's gone from that niche market of bodybuilders, these are bodybuilder-only products, to, if you're someone who skips breakfast in the morning, your doctor may have told you that you need to eat, or you need more protein in your diet for whatever reason. It means that the people using these can be anywhere from mums and dads to the kids, to anyone playing a sport.
How much money are we talking about that you'd be spending, say, per month on these sort of products?
It depends on the person. Like an average purchase might be around $100. but which sounds like a lot, but that may, if you're only having, say, one shake a morning, that may last you 2 or 3 months. And there's a lot more choice now, so you can grab a tub of protein for $20-$30 that may last you a month, and you can obviously go right up to the other end where you're spending a decent amount of money.
Tell us about the business model that you've adopted and how you've managed to use that to achieve the growth that you have.
We've tried to keep things pretty simple and just focus on the basics of business, so good customer service. When we started out, supplements were probably at a massive premium here in New Zealand, so you paid a lot more for the same product in New Zealand than you would from somewhere else. So we've worked pretty hard with our distributors to bring the prices down, so you can order this stuff in New Zealand. You don't have to order from overseas, and you're still getting value for money.
And when you look at that, online has been the real key to your success, hasn't it? I mean, effectively, you're servicing most of your customers through an online model. Yeah.
Online is definitely the way we do everything. We do, good pricing, free shipping, and we try and get your products out to our customers really quickly. And we've modelled our whole business around that. So if any time there's something that we think we can improve, we always look back at it and think, well, is this going to improve our service, or has this got a benefit for the customer? If it does, then we'll go ahead and do it.
Where did your own interest in business come from?
I've always been interested in business. Went to university thinking that I would at some stage run my own business. Just had no idea of where it would be and what it would be in. Always wanted to do it, and it just came up that from using supplements myself, I had belief in the product. I knew how they worked and had a bit of an insight into things, so it ended up being a good fit.
And when you look at the potential for the business, where do you think you could take it over time?
There's tons of potential. The growth over the last few years has been massive, and I think it'll continue that way. It's a bit crazy to wonder where it might end up.
Today, of course, too, when you look at the way people are approaching their exercise regimes and their healthy eating message, obviously that's playing well into your hands as well too. So the messages are consistent with the business model.
Yeah, they are. Like I said, that everyone wants to be a little bit healthier, and I guess everyone's a little bit busier. And supplements comes into that because it's a convenience thing as well. If you're in a hurry, rather than skip a meal, you can get some good quality nutrition. Ideally, you don't skip a meal, but people are really busy at the moment, so it does help them out.
What about in the competitive space? Obviously, this is a business where people can enter it fairly easily, low barriers to entry and so forth. So how do you maintain your competitive advantage?
It is very low margin, the business. You do have to turn over a lot of product. You need some buying power, obviously, to do that. So pricing is really important. Stuff like our free shipping. But I think equally important is that if we can ship the orders out really quickly and get them to the customer, within 24 hours, then you're really adding in that good customer service as well.
What about marketing and advertising above the line? Does that feature much in your strategy? We
haven't done a huge amount. We've focused on doing the basics really well, and I think that's worked well for us because it's mean that word of mouth is spread for us, and ideally that's the way that your marketing works anyway. It's a little bit of online advertising and word of mouth, and that's worked really well for us.
Have you looked at strategies to get your existing customers to bring in other customers as well too?
We do. The main thing, if we can if we can do such good service that they're going to tell a friend about how good we were or how quickly they got their product, then that's a large part of the job done. We also do things like rewards points, because it is a type of product that you will keep on buying. We like to put in a bit of a loyalty there as well, so and help them out that way.
What about challenges along the way in running the business? Where have been the hump points that have perhaps caused you to lose a bit of sleep sometimes?
Oh, they always spring up. I think it doesn't matter what business you're in, that type of thing happens. The rapid growth we've had has been something that we've had to stay on top of. We didn't want to grow the business and drop our standards in any way. So staying on top of that and trying to improve while we're growing has been one of the biggest things. But yeah, there's always little curveballs that get thrown to you from time to time. So yeah.
Most satisfying aspect of running a business for yourself?
At the start, especially when I was working a full-time job and doing this business part-time when we started. So quitting my job was a nervous time. And getting through that first 6 to 12 months and getting the business to a stage where I was earning a salary again was something I was really happy with. And I guess now being able to employ others is pretty cool, because there's not a huge amount of jobs around at the moment. All our guys here really love what they're doing as well. So I get a bit of pride out of that.
And they must also enjoy a bit of staff discount for buying the product.
Yeah, they do, absolutely. We actually try, when we get new products or anything, we always ask the distributors or the manufacturers for some samples, and it's good because the guys get to all try it out. They know flavours and tastes and textures and all that kind of stuff, and it keeps them happy, and it also means if we get a phone call or a question, they can give a decent opinion on the products.
And people feel like they're talking to people that they can relate to as well.
Yeah, they do. All the guys that we've got here, they're into their sports. Some are personal trainers, so they've got that little bit extra knowledge as well. And they all use supplements to varying degrees. So it's great being able to relate to people about and give them little bits of advice as well.
And finally, best bit of advice you'd pass on, what you wish you might have known at the start that you know now?
Oh, I guess one of the things when I was at university, trying to think of what type of business I would run or what I was doing, I was always trying to think of what crazy new idea or invention I could come up with that was going to do really well. And it wasn't until some time later that I realised that just sticking to good business practice and finding a small niche in the market is the way to go, and it probably gets you in a little bit earlier. And you don't need that massive new idea. With a little bit of work and like I said, good basic business practices, you can give it a really good go.
And spot the gap.
Yes. Doesn't have to be a huge niche, but if you think that there's a slightly better way of doing something, then that's enough if you start looking into it more.
So Andrew, you probably look at the business today a little surprised at how quickly you've grown, but the ability to see something in the market and then take advantage of that really has been, I guess, part of the essence of your success.
Yeah, it has. We looked at trying to find a better way of serving our customers, and we've tried to keep our customers in the forefront of everything we do, and I think that's been a big part of our growth and hopefully our continued growth.